What's up, space pirates? This is your captain, the Dread Pirate, Dr. Disaster, and today we get to talk about a movie that doesn't suck for once. We get to talk about a movie that is launching today and is going to absolutely throttle the hell out of Indiana Jones at the box office.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
You should have a bad feeling, sir, because Mission Impossible feels like it's going to be another Top Gun Maverick type situation. A movie that absolutely crushes the box office and shows the rest of Hollywood what is up. Compare Indiana Jones to Mission Impossible side by side and ask yourself this: which one looks like it's going to be more fun and entertaining?
Oh my god.
Hang on!
Ethan!
Go, go, go!
Audiences and critics can't believe what they're seeing.
Alright guys, this is a no-brainer. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to take the money that you saved not going to Indiana Jones 5 because Disney is a bunch of feckless, out-of-touch screw-ups and give it to Mission Impossible instead. Yeah, there is no running from this, Disney. You are being boycotted because you won't tell the stories that we want to hear. You choose to make effeminate, broken down male characters and manly women who steal the show, and we are done with it. Nobody in the media wants to acknowledge this simple fact, but it's happening. In this video, we are going to look at the projected box office for Mission Impossible 7, which is astronomical compared to the standards of this summer so far. And then we're going to have a laugh at the tired identity politics excuses that the media is making for Indiana Jones 5 and Lucasfilm, ironically proving why all of their movies are failing. So pull up a chair and prepare your most obnoxious laugh, because we are going to enjoy the embarrassment Lucasfilm must feel as Indiana Jones fails miserably while Mission Impossible succeeds triumphantly.
Let me try.
Let's have a look at this article from Screen Rant, shall we? I can imagine the writer of this piece crying into his little Disney coffee mug while he types this headline. Mission Impossible 7 box office could make back nearly entire production budget in just 1 week.
It's not true. That's impossible.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 could make back almost its entire production cost in just 1 week. The latest installment in the Mission Impossible franchise sees Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt go up against a new, shadowy organization with connections to his past. The movie has received critical acclaim, with some praising it as the best Mission Impossible movie ever made. Once again, let's do a head-to-head comparison. You all remember the critical reception of Indiana Jones 5 at the Cannes Film Festival, don't you? The critics' Rotten Tomatoes score for this film has steadily climbed damn near 10 points in the past month as Disney shills have gradually fallen in line, but it is still at a wimpy 69%. Now, contrast that to Mission Impossible, and you see it just isn't even close. Mission Impossible comes in at a whopping 97% so far on the critics' Rotten Tomatoes score. Anyhow, the article continues. Now, Deadline reports Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 can also expect worldwide box office success. current projections put the film's worldwide earnings at $250 million in its first 5 days. This means Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning will likely make back almost all of its $290 million production budget in its first week of release. I mean, you hear that? This movie looks to make almost all of its production budget of $290 million, which is nearly identical to the reported $295 million budget of Indiana Jones in the first week. In fact, it is on pace to surpass the 3-week haul of Indiana Jones 5 in its very first weekend. That is embarrassing for Disney Lucasfilm. Early reports of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1's box office indicated the movie will make $90 million domestically during its opening week. This will make it the highest domestic opening for any Mission Impossible film, beating out the previous record holder, Mission Impossible Fallout, which opened at $61.2 million in its first weekend. Because of how massive an opening weekend it's expected to have, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 could be the most successful Mission Impossible movie of all time. Once more, there is no comparison here between the reception of the two films we're discussing. While Mission Impossible is outdoing its previous films in a big way, Indiana Jones 5 is set to make less money than any other film in the series, even including movies made back in the 80s when movie tickets were only a couple bucks. So if you're one of those people who refuse to acknowledge what many of us in this space have been saying, that people are sick of the identity politic BS being spouted by Disney, that people are just plain sick of Disney in general, which is why all of their films, other than Guardians of the Galaxy 3, have bombed this year, then ask yourself this: why? What evidence do you have? Because we have plenty of evidence that what we're saying is correct. What evidence do you have? The excuses coming out of the mouths of Disney shills are pretty flimsy. Let's take a peek at this article from Deadline. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 to ignite franchise record with $250 million plus global opening box office preview. Can Tom Cruise save summer? Despite the onslaught of shiny product that hasn't delivered, i.e. Flash and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the summer domestic box office at $2.1 billion per ComScore is pacing 6% behind last year's for the period of May 1st to July 9th. All eyes are on the best-reviewed Mission Impossible of all time, Paramount Skydance's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, to hopefully get us on a July roll, starting Wednesday with an expected franchise global 5-day record of $250 million, made up of $90 million domestic and $160 million abroad in 70 markets. And here's where the article falls off a cliff. It says, there is a great potential for upside here, not just because of the Rotten Tomatoes score of 98% certified fresh, but also because a Top Gun Maverick halo effect is expected to work in the favor of the 7th Mission Impossible. Yes, Mission Impossible skews largely toward older guys. The last chapter, Fallout, counting 58% guys and 25% over of the audience over 45. However, Top Gun Maverick wound up playing beyond its opening weekend demos of 45% over 45 and 58% to a diverse and younger audience. Word is that during testing of Dead Reckoning, for some under 25 patrons, it was the first time they'd ever seen a Mission movie, the series now 27 years old. This right here is why these jackasses fail. Every time something happens in the world, they have to pull out graphs and charts and start finding numbers they can use to spin a narrative that doesn't make a damn difference. How many women saw Top Gun? How many people with various shades of skin color? How many old people? How many young? It doesn't matter. If you want to understand why Top Gun Maverick did so damned well at the box office, watch the movie. It's entertaining, and word of mouth carried it into the stratosphere, you insufferable doorwards. It doesn't matter if you're a man, or a woman, or black, or white, or young, or old. You heard that the movie was good, so you went to it. Now, it's occurred to me many times before, and especially now, that wokeness is simply a product of corporations trying to appeal to as many demographics as possible in order to fleece us of our money. The consequences of their nonsense be damned. Well, your little charts and percentages are failing you doofuses, and I think it's hilarious. I mean, they continually want to make the excuse that Indiana Jones 5 is failing because they weren't diverse enough, because it didn't appeal to younger audiences. That's what they're trying to say here in this article. They're trying to say that somehow they went too far in trying to appeal to the older audience. Well, this is ridiculous, of course. Continuing to push movies down the woke path is like someone being told to cut off their big toes so they can run faster. And every time they don't run very fast, they're being told to just cut off more toes. That'll make you faster, right? Kathleen Kennedy and the other executives at Disney deserve to feel ashamed, and I'm certain they do. Their shills in the media keep drumming up the excuse that Indy is just an old guy movie, and that's why it's failing, and they can only succeed if they appeal to the young and the diverse. But this is bullshit. An old white male in the form of Tom Cruise is kicking their asses, and they can't just explain it away. Like I've said before, take the money that you saved not going to Indiana Jones 5 and give it to Mission Impossible, who remembers how to tell a story without degrading its characters. Let's keep force-feeding the lesson that we hate Disney as much as they clearly hate us and our culture. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.